Okay, this abduction happened about 2 years ago. And, I can't remember if I named Joel yet or not. And I can't remember how I came up with that name. But it's funny how the last two letters, E-L, David Icke was talking about words and stuff in his books. And a lot of these words have E-L at the end, for elite. Yeah, so Joel is an elite reptoid alien. He's an elite reptilian. Joel. But I don't think I named him yet 2 years ago. Uh, Maybe somewheres in 2014 I named him, but I don't think I named him yet when I had this experience. But anyway, so they started communicating to me by pop songs around 2012 or 2013. If truth be known, they probably communicated to me with songs all my life, but I was conscious of it in 2013 or 2012, and they gave me a whole lot of songs, communications, 1980 pop songs, 1970s, 1990s, and I wrote most of them down, but it's very smart of them to communicate that way. I mean, of course, they don't really mean anything by it. Uh, they don't really mean, what all of the lyrics really say. But yeah, they're very fun to play around with. And I come from that era where all those songs are so, had such clear words and stuff. All of those songs had very clear lyrics back then. And they played those songs over and over and over again. When I was younger. Like, this song, Take On Me. Take Me On. Okay, so, anyway, this abduction started out where he was throwing me, it started out he was throwing me in the murky, cloudy, foggy, gray astral realm. Yeah, this time I guess you could actually call it the astral realm. And, he was throwing me around, and as he was tossing me around like a ragdoll, he was playing the exact replica of the song. And when they give me the songs, it's the exact replica. Whatever's in my brain, they bring it out to the consciousness. And it's the exact replica. But they can alter the words if they really wanted to. They did that before, about 3 times. They can actually flip words around or alter the words a little bit, and it still flows along just perfectly. You can't even tell. You can't even notice. Because that one time they gave me that song about 3 years ago, where hot-blooded 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 got a fever of 103. Well, they edited it to say we're cold-blooded. And at first it kind of confused me. Because I was trying to look up the song and I was like, what? I was trying to look up the song and I was like, I know this is the song, we're hot-blooded. But they told me they're cold-blooded. So it was really weird, but then that was before, I really got attuned to them and knowing them. But anyway, yeah, they've been communicating to me by songs at least since 2012, probably all my life. And all of those songs back then, I come from that era, all of them were very, very, very clear lyrics. Like this one. Maybe I already said that, I can't remember. Okay, but, so anyway, this abduction started out, he was tossing me in the astral realm, he just kept tossing me. And of course, I was out of body, non-physical. And, of course, he was there with me somewhere, but he was nowhere to be seen, if you know what I'm saying. They rarely show themselves, but he has several times. So anyway, he was tossing me around, and I was being thrown around like a rag doll in the air, in the astral realm, and I was kind of scared, I mean, because I knew he was being rogue, I knew he was being an asshole, I knew he was being intimidating. He likes to intimidate, for sure. And he bullies me around, too. He likes to intimidate, he bullies me around, and he gets me off sexually a lot. But this one actually was not very sexual at all. It wasn't very sexual. Okay, so he was throwing me around. The whole time he was throwing me around, he was playing the song by a-ha, Take On Me, Take Me On. The song that I just played on here. And it's a very awesome song, I love it. But yeah, he played that song the whole time. He was tossing me around like a ragdoll. He also played it during, I want to say he did play it during the middle of my abduction, and also at the end of my abduction he played the song. And it's exact replica. When they give me these songs, this exact same song that you would just pop into a CD or whatever, a CD player. It's exact replica. And so anyway, he was throwing me around, and I was like, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. And I said that over and over again, like, please don't hurt me, because I knew he was being mean, you know what I'm saying? And a couple times, I actually did say a couple times, please don't rape me, a couple times. But mainly I was just saying, like, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. The whole time he was throwing me around like a freaking ragdoll. I mean, yeah, it was kind of fun, but I mean, I knew he was being mean, I knew he was being intimidating. But that's just him, that's his personality. So anyway, so after he kept throwing me around, then he places me in a virtual reality scenario, or, you know, I guess you can call it another dimension too, but it's, you know, artificial, I believe, artificial dimension, you know. But still, I mean, well, nothing's really artificial, because this dimension's artificial too. Okay, so, places me in it, you know, feels just like 3D, you know, in these virtual reality scenes, just like 3D. He places me in, as far as I remember, it was my house in this scenario, but in real life it was nothing like my house. There was a lot of clutter. I went into the house. Over to my right was the living room, a bigger living room, and over to the left there was a lot of tables and a lot of clutter, a lot of knickknacks, and then there was a couch facing to the left, and there was, and that was like a smaller little living room area. And there was a young black kid, like 14-year-old black kid, that was sitting on the couch. They're always putting black people in my scenarios. There was a young black kid, about 14, and he was supposed to be babysitting my cat, Hannah. And, you know, Joel knows that Hannah is really, really little, and she's, you know, she's very skinny, she's very little. She's just that type of cat. And she's kind of vulnerable because she's so little. And, you know, so I don't let her outside or anything unattended. So, he was supposed to be babysitting my cat, and I didn't even know this dude. I'm thinking, when I saw the black kid, I'm thinking, who the hell is that guy in my house sitting on the couch? But I didn't know him, but I knew somehow he was supposed to be babysitting Hannah. And I was thinking, I don't know if I can trust him with Hannah, with my cat Hannah. I didn't know if he would really, you know, take care of her. And then it was like a few minutes later, I somehow knew I could trust him. But I never did interact with this black kid. But then I knew, you know, at first I couldn't trust him. Several minutes later, I just knew I could. So like I say, this abduction was pretty damn fast. But, you know, I don't like a bunch of clutter and shit. I mean, I have been in houses many, many times, you know, where people just, they just have all this clutter. And actually, you know, they pick up all these little bits and pieces that's in your brain and they throw them in your scenarios. You know, and I've been in houses like that many, many times, but that's not how I live, but that's how he made me live in this scenario. But yeah, the house was really nothing like real life, like what I live in, but it was my house in this scenario. And, okay, so the next thing he did, he's always turning me into a hermaphrodite. 8 times out of 10. And, but that's not the only thing. He's actually, they've actually put, I mean, real dongs on me too. I mean, not just Hermy type of stuff, but real, dongs on me. They've done that too, but they more so Joel more so turns me into a hermaphrodite. And so what he did was, okay, so after I was like, well, I don't know if I could trust him with Hannah. And then after I was standing around many minutes later, after I knew I could trust him, next thing I know, Joe places me, when he does this a lot, he places me on the floor, sitting down on the floor. He does it a lot. He placed me sitting down on the floor, and then I look down, and then he turns me into a hermaphrodite. He makes me play with it and shit. Like I say, they're perverts big time. But that's not the only thing they could do. That's not the only thing they've done to me. Like they've, early in the morning they can kind of, like a male or a Hermie type of reptilian or male reptilian can kind of morph their bodies into you. And like, I'll be like, I'll literally, one time I kind of woke up, not 100%, but I literally had a dong attached to me. I literally woke up as, I had a dong. Not a Hermie dong either, just a dong. But yeah, they can kind of do that. Joel is not a Hermie though. He has a big one. Bigger than average. But yeah, they won't have sex with you like one-to-one very often, like direct intercourse, because they know that's kind of disrespectful. So they like to do things sexually more indirect. Yeah, like totally indirect. And direct but indirect. Like they'll still get you off, man. They can make you have full body orgasms, or they could just make it more localized or whatever. But yeah, it's really cool what they could do. And sometimes they'll just arouse you, and then well most of the time if they arouse me, then they go ahead and get me off. But sometimes they've just aroused me and didn't get me off. But normally it's the other way around. If they're gonna arouse you, they will get you off. And they wait. He does anyway. He waits till the end of the abduction. Like he'll arouse me at the beginning of the abduction, and then he'll get me off at the end of the abduction. But this abduction, I don't remember. I don't think he aroused me. At least I don't remember. But yeah, he's turned me into hermaphrodite I don't know how many damn times. And now, even like many, many, many years ago, now I realize what all of the other stuff was about. Where they would be making me play with my Hermie thing many, many times in a, virtual reality dream state. They've done it thousands. Well, at the time, of course, I didn't really know, I was being abducted, so to speak, either mind abduction or virtual reality experience. But now, even in my, I know that, when I'm actually out of body and having abductions, and yeah, they've been doing that all my life too, turning me into a freaking hermaphrodite. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, and I'm sure they're doing that to a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? But most people are cows, and they will not wake up. And what they don't know does not hurt them, but I'm glad I woke up. I'm glad I'm not a cow that is asleep. Because, I have so much fun with these beings. And like I say, I can freaking draw in the mean ones if I want to, but I don't really want to do that very often because they're pretty freaking mean. But I don't mind the rogue ones like Joel. The ones that like to intimidate and stuff, because I know they're really not, I know he's really not going to, hurt me or whatever. He probably could, but he won't. He likes to intimidate, and he's definitely arrogant, for sure. Some of the reptilians are, some of them aren't, but Joel definitely is. And during this abduction, he was just being an asshole. But I don't mind my reptilian beings being assholes, because I think it's all fun. And I'd rather deal with them than human assholes. You know what I'm saying? Well, thanks for listening. But yeah, they have good taste, man. They like all these awesome songs, 1980 pop songs, 1990 pop songs, late 1970s pop songs. He's also thrown, I'm pretty sure it was him anyway. I put that story on here too. He also threw DJ Dean, a trance song at me in that abduction. But yeah, this abduction, he played the song during the middle of the abduction, the beginning of the abduction, and during the end of the abduction. And I forgot one last thing. So after he turns me into a hermaphrodite, and after he makes me play with it and shit, then when he put me back in my bed, that's when he did another virtual reality scene where I was looking at the wall, and this dresser, you know, physically, this dresser was like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, rattling back and forth. And I mean, I thought it was real. I really thought I was awake. I mean, I thought I was in 3D. And I thought the dress, you know what I'm saying? He did another virtual reality. Okay, this is where it's a little different. Like, a lot of times when they actually do virtual reality stuff, like most of all of my abductions, like while I'm in the abduction, I know I'm being abducted. I know I'm very conscious of that. But then they can turn around and, I mean, it's still virtual reality, but it's still out-of-body abduction, and I'm very aware and alert that I'm out of body and I'm being abducted and I'm under the abduction, and that the reptilian is giving me the abduction while I'm under the abduction. I know all of that. But then they can turn around and play with your head and then stick you in another virtual reality setting, like when they place you back in bed, and you think they just mess with your head, and you think you're in 3D, but you're not. You totally think you're in 3D. I really thought that dresser was going back and forth. I really thought it was, you know, I had a dresser in my bedroom. And it's not until you wake up actually back in 3D that you realize, wow, you know. And that happens a lot when sometimes they don't let you know, you know, they make you think you're just in 3D and you're not. So it's just kind of 50-50, you know. I mean, they do both all the time. Like, most of the time I'm conscious, but when they do some of the virtual reality stuff, I'm not conscious that I'm actually under the abduction still until I actually wake back up in 3D. So yeah. And so, of course, when I actually woke up back in 3D, I was just like, wow. Then I knew, you know, because I don't own a physical dresser in my bedroom. I don't have a dresser, but I used to own one. He put the exact same one that I used to own in this experience. I did used to own, you know, a dresser. I don't have a wood dresser anymore. I haven't had one in many years. And, but, you know, when he put me back in my bedroom, and he made the dresser go back and forth up against the wall, moving up against the wall, you know, I did not know that I was still under the abduction. I thought I was out of the abduction, back in bed. And, so anyway, but see, that's not the first time he's put a dresser, twice, maybe more times too, but right now, I can only think of twice. This experience, he put the moving dresser into virtual reality, the moving dresser back and forth, rocking back and forth, and then that abduction on here, oh my God, that was like the most fun, man, where he abducts me 3 times by his powerful force technology, and he I had it titled "To the Church." It was my abduction to the church, and that was like total blast. But he tried to abduct me. He abducted me like serially, like 3 different times, and the fun one out of the 3 was the full successful abduction, and he took me to the church. And it was a total blast. He actually got me off in that one. But during the first abduction, when he lifted me off the bed with his powerful force technology, it felt like I was physically being lifted off the bed. And he put the dresser, well, this time I was on my stomach, and he put a smaller wood dresser to the right of my bed. And so when I was being sucked up off the bed, physically, it felt physical, but I know he wasn't taking me physically. That was just virtual reality. And the dresser kept wobbling up and down, you know, it kept moving away from it kept wobbling, moving away from the wall. And I thought it was real. I mean, I thought it was real at the time, just for a few seconds, until I actually start astral traveling, until, I'm under the scenario, the other part of the scenario. Then it's like I become conscious that I know that I'm under the abduction. I mean, yeah, it's still virtual reality, but most of my abductions, I actually am out of body, and I'm conscious that I'm out of body and under virtual reality and stuff. But then sometimes, it's both. They'll still take me out of body and do virtual reality little pieces where I'm not really conscious that I'm, under the abduction at the time. But then later on, after they start getting me into the scenario, then I totally become conscious. Okay, I'm under the abduction now, or whatever. But they just like to play with your head like that. But then there's some virtual reality experiences where you really are not out of body, where they can just dip down into this dimension and just bam, activate a virtual reality experience. And you're really not out of body, but of course it feels like you're out of body because it feels like 3D. Feels like you're just walking around in 3D. So yeah, it's still an out of body experience. But no, I mean, most of the time I really am out of body because they actually take me out of body. I actually feel my astral body going out of my physical body and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I still need to do a video about the differences between out-of-body experiences and virtual reality and remote views and what are the other ones? And lucid dreams and dreams. I still got to do a video about that. But yeah, that's a constant pattern though with them, because and Venus does this too. At the beginning of the scenario, like, I'm under virtual reality. Well, I'm still, maybe I really am out of body, maybe I'm not. But they'll do virtual reality, and that's what I call virtual reality. And during 5 or 10 minutes, I do not know that I'm actually out of body under an abduction in an altered state of consciousness. For a few minutes, I do not know that. And then they'll start lifting me up, making me astral travel out the window and all that, and then that's when I know, wow, I'm being abducted. And that's when I know. But I don't know if they're controlling all of that or not. 100%. I don't know. But yeah, because I always become conscious that I'm under the abduction and that, okay, the reptilians are giving me this abduction. Joel's giving me this abduction. And blah, 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 blah. But sometimes I don't know what reptilian. Sometimes I know it's definitely a reptilian giving me the abduction, but I'm not sure which one it is. I always know when Joel does, but like that reptilian that gave me the abduction recently, where he courted me and romanticized me or whatever, that was not Joel. I don't know what being. Joel could have been in on it though. He could have been in on it because I had a second abduction right after that, but that was more kind of like a mind abduction, and it was very, very, very sexual. And I think both of those abductions went hand in hand, and Joel could have maybe been in on it, but he's not the main one that created that scenario, that abduction for me. It was a different reptilian. And that was a total freaking blast too, man. Total blast. Okay, well, thanks for listening.